as promised, got the FN 510 out at the range today. Got the Trigicon RMR on here. Got my witness marks on there as I have zeroed this gun. If you watch the shorts, you kind of know that. It's about 33, 34 degrees out here. They were kind of calling for snow. We've noticed that we just got a little light drizzle. So for us southern boys, that's miserable. So our hands are cold, they feel broken. And listen, it was about 28 degrees, so it's gotten a little bit cooler, or warmer should I say. And so anyway, not looking forward to necessarily shooting a 10 millimeter in under those conditions, but we kind of have waited to the end to do our 10 millimeters. We're going to compare this one with the M&P 2.0. Trey has taken his optic off of that one, so we're just going to kind of turn this optic off because it does get a great 100% co-witness with these irons with those really high raised sights on this gun. This one does. If you go and you check out the tabletop, you'll see, as I mentioned in the tabletop, some of our shorts, it's just blacked out, serrated front and rear sight, nothing special, no night sight, no white dot, no nothing. It doesn't seem to be a problem for me, especially with having the optic up here, but just kind of want to get on target down here. We're going to move up to about 10 yards, which is where Trey and I have been shooting at today. Don't want to get too close with the 10 millimeter and catch some shrapnel. That would not be fun. I'm going to shoot at the Miami-Dade steel target down here, as Trey's been calling it, or I've referred to it as the polar bear target. So 10 millimeter, my RMR is on. It's a little bit foggy because again, it is cold. I know we're being punks. Get it. Not bad. 10 yards, 10 millimeter. Not bad. Let's get over here on the black bear, or the Miami Night, as Trey was calling it. Definitely shooting a little low left. Like I said, this optic was zeroed in, so she's definitely on point. But so I'm gonna say the low left is on me. Again, we have shot a lot today, but grouping is phenomenal. Love the grouping. The grouping is great. As I have come to expect with the FN brand, it's always reliable, always decently accurate. And I'm gonna let Trey, I'm gonna put one more mag through here, and I'm gonna let Trey get on this thing and see what he thinks about how it hits, if you will.
What do you think about how it hits? Is it punishing you?
The felt recoil. Well, I'll be honest with you, it's not as bad as I expected it to be. I don't know if you guys watched a couple of the shorts that we put up, and these magazines are tight. I don't know if you guys watched some of the shorts that we put up, but it almost got away from my wife. Screw that. It's too cold out here for that, man.
It's like busting a knuckle when you're working a wrench.
So I got 13 in there. That'll be good. Let's try to speed it up here a little bit. That ought to be interesting. You know, I've always complained about how bad the triggers are in the FN brand. In general, they're all bad. Even the the Edge CC that we had with the flat face trigger is bad too. But I've also always said that when you get out to the range, you don't really notice it. It's the weirdest thing ever, because we shot an SD 9 earlier from Smith & Wesson, a new release from them, and it's got a bad trigger, a really bad trigger, like way worse than this one. And you actually notice it at the range, especially when we were trying to shoot a little faster. You don't really notice that with the FN. It's really weird, because like Trey said, she's bulky. Baby's got back, no doubt. They're thick. They're bulky when they seemingly don't have to be. And, you know, it's got this weird stippling going on here where it's a, what'd you say, a smorgasbord?
Smorgasbord of collectors.
Of whatever's
of
going
difference,
on.
yeah.
But you don't really seem to notice any of that at the range. It just seems to run, to perform. So, and a lot of my police friends really gravitate towards the FN brand. There's a rabid following, and so I have to, you know, in my mind, I'm thinking I got to trust these guys. I mean, they should be not an expert, but they should know something about firearms. So what is it that causes them to gravitate so much towards it? And I think it's because they don't get involved in the semantics. You know, oh, okay, well, it's thick. It's got weird stippling. Oh, the trigger reset's not great. They just go out and shoot the gun. One thing I can say about FN is if you just go out and shoot it, don't pay no attention to all the trigger snobs standing at the counter, pulling the trigger, talking about it being gritty. Is it gritty? Yes, it's gritty. Is it gritty on the reset? Yes, it is. Is the reset great? No, it ain't. Is it longer than your Glock and some others, Walther's, H&K stuff? Sure. But you have to shoot the gun to really appreciate it. So let's see if Trey feels the same way. Gonna get him loaded up, see what he thinks about it. I'm sure he's looking forward to it.
So just because I know everybody asked, before you say anything, we do have some jacketed hollow point. How you say that? Zeller and Bellet?
Yep.
Who the heck knows?
Who, actually, didn't they just get bought out by CZ? Or somebody just bought them.
And then we have a smorgasbord, as Trey's kind of made famous today. I think it's mostly MagTech and some 6-hour ballpoint.
Well, I guess time for my review, right? Let me shoot it before I say anything, because as Gene allured to, FN, it's all about shooting, right? So maybe we don't get caught up in the cosmetics. That's a little bit different than a 9.
Down to 9, Jamal. I will say you're shooting low. I'm not sure.
I'm gonna slow down a little bit in shooting.
You didn't ask, but I just, you know.
I appreciate that very much so. Thank you for that. First thoughts about it. Just shooting it. It actually feels pretty good in the hand. It's very thick, and I don't really have thick hands per se, but it is very, very thick in the hand. Common with FNs. Not a big fan of the sight setup. I don't like the all black. I like something to contrast in the front, as I'm sure many of you have heard me say in the past. But that Trigicon and the way that it sits on top, it almost looks natural. It's so flush in every aspect, like on the front, the side. Again, getting caught up in the cosmetics, but function-wise, it shot really well. It was consistent, and you know, I guess you can't complain when a gun shoots well, right? So let's shoot it some more.
definitely getting a percussion headache from that.
Yeah, I can feel it myself. It kind of drains you a little bit, doesn't it? But you know, another thing that we've made mention of in the past is how nicely FN makes their FDE as far as how the slide matches the grip module. I really like that. A lot of companies are not that great at doing it. You can tell a stark contrast in color, which it's harder to paint that metal than the plastic, I suppose. But shooting wise, as I mentioned before on that FN Compact Tactical, the smorgasbord of grip stippling that they have, there's a lot going on with it, but I like that because it gives you a much more firm purchase, a good grip on the gun. And I'm not going to complain in the slightest about that because I like to get grip, especially on a 10 millimeter. You're really going to want that because of the recoil that you experience. I really like the gun. I think it's a solid purchase if you guys can go and pick you one up.
Trey, I don't know if it's just because he was, not really focusing, just really focusing more on shootability and shooting the gun, but he kept shooting real low, so now I'm paranoid. So I'm going to go repaint the target and put a couple more mags through it and make sure my optic is on because he's done made me paranoid up in here.
So I'm gonna try to slow it down a little bit and confirm that my dot here is definitely on, because like I said, I zeroed this at the range at 7 yards and we were definitely on at 7 yards. Because again, if they say whoever they are says that if you come in close contact with a polar bear or something like that, 7 yards would be the engagement point. I don't know, but that's what I zeroed it at. And we do have a smorgasbord of ammunition in here. Some of it's flat, some of it's ball. Might even have a hollow point or two staggered around in there, so that could be it. But typically when two people are shooting consistently low and neither one is shooting right or left, Trey being the lefty, it's usually because you're anticipating recoil. So I'm gonna try to slow down, make sure my optic's on, try to do a little bit more for accuracy, because we are gonna do a side-by-side with the Smith & Wesson M&P, as I mentioned, just using the iron sight. So for me, I just wanna make sure that my optic is still on. I'm gonna move up here. We said this was about 9 yards, so I'm gonna try to move a little bit closer to where I actually zeroed the gun at the range, where I might come in contact with a polar bear. So we're going to shoot the polar bear steel target right here and see if we can slow it down and do a little bit better.
I would say you got the polar bear.
You see where I was wearing out that one spot and it kept getting wider and wider?
Yeah.
Shrapnel was flying a solid 5 yards, knocking our paper targets off over there. Hey, you like my mag holders there?
It's actually pretty nifty, actually. Not bad.
That's tactile.
I like it.
You didn't know?
Well, it's a tactical shirt.
That's tactile.
Yeah.
We tactical, G squared tactical.
That's right. G2T.
Let me get on the black bear over here. Oh, that pulled. I was losing my grip a little bit because I was trying a little too hard to concentrate for the accuracy, but it's close enough. I think that I am pulling a little bit. Like I said, It's about 34 degrees or so out here. We've been shooting for about 4 hours now, and it is 10 millimeter, and it's a little chilly. And so we already got not the sugar shakes, but the cold shakes.
The shivers.
The shivers, the cold shivers, yeah. So again, that would be 105 rounds. We're going to put some more through it because we're going to do a side-by-side with the M&P. So we're going to get right to that here shortly. No malfunctions. I put about 150 rounds or so through this thing when I zeroed this optic with various different, some hollow points, various different weights, grains, hotter ammo. I do have some buffalo bore. I don't know if I want to touch that today. My shoulder's already hurting.
We're shooting polar bears.
Well, that is true. We do need to shoot the bear load since we're shooting the polar bear down there. Either way, it's doing good. It's done great. I like it. I like how it feels in the hand. I like how it shoots. Again, it's a 10 millimeter. It's not going to be the most fun gun you're going to take to the range and shoot. It's for self-defense, it's for backpacking, it's for big game, if you will. So in those cases if a polar bear did raise up on you, I don't think you're going to be overly concerned about recoil. That would just be my guess. So for function, does great, fine with accuracy. Magazines are super tight. So I would imagine that would get a little bit better with time. You kind of have to roll the last 5 in there because it is super tight. But I believe it'll get better with time. Can't say enough good about everything they offer. The ambi mag release, ambi slide lock, comes with all the mounting hardware, already has the raised sights. I do, as Trey said, wish that they would have put a night sight set up on this like they did with my FN 509C compact, but they didn't. But it should be easy enough to replace if you ever want to do that. But they are raised sights, so you do get a good 100%, in this case, co-witness. If you put the Leopold up here, it'd be more of a 1/3. Again, can't say enough good about it. Go check out the tabletop to get more of the information about the weights, heights, all of that good stuff. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and be blessed.